dudes, welcome back to another Dragonball FighterZ video. Today I got a little bit of a topic for you guys, something I'd like to talk about because I've seen this conversation go around the community quite a bit lately. And the topic is Android 21 killing Dragonball FighterZ? Now I do want to go ahead and support both sides of this argument because I've seen a lot of arguments on both sides. But at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and throw my own 2 cents in, give you guys my own opinion. So to start, you have the people on one side of the fence who believe Android 21 is making the game a lot less fun to play. They feel like, alright, we had the Fusion meta along with the Gokus and Z Brolys before Android 21 came out. People were sick of it, they were tired of it, it was kind of getting a little bit exhausting seeing everyone online play the same exact team. Android 21 comes out and she's got literally all of the same strengths and then some. So now all people are seeing is the same Fusion teams but with Android 21. So sure, we got a DLC that should have been hype, but it's more of the same problem in their eyes. It's just another ridiculous character that they have to deal with. And I can kind of see where they're coming from on this, just because of the fact that she does have that debuff mechanic and so many advantages in her base toolkit that make this character extremely strong. But on the other side of the fence, you have people who believe that nothing's really changed. The game, even with Android 21, isn't much different. Strong characters existed before Android 21. We had GT Goku, who was nerfed, sure, but we still have Z Broly, which a lot of the casual fanbase and a lot of the average players find to be absolutely unblockable with his command grab. We have the UI Gokus, who people hate because he mashes and he's like, you know, Ultra Ignorance is kind of a code name for him because of how easy he is to play. You got the Vegito players who just mash light attack, so these people believe that we've had equally as strong characters before, so why is she suddenly a problem? Those are the major arguments I've seen from both sides. Now personally, I think she's great. I think she's absolutely awesome. And is she just a little bit too strong? Sure, yeah, a little bit of adjustments could be made here and there, but I don't really think that she's the overpowered, unbeatable character a lot of people make her out to be. And the reason I feel that way is because, well, the average player isn't going to be able to use her full potential in order to make her OP. And as a result, if you're an average player getting beat by an Android 21, there's probably something that you could be doing better in order to actually defeat the character. And I think it's important in order to kind of realize that there is something in your control, and there is something that you can do. It just takes a little bit of practice in order to get there. In the professional scene though, they experience Dragonball FighterZ in a much different way. The professional players and the people who are at a professional caliber, those guys are able to use Android 21 in a lab coat to her maximum potential, and as a result, yeah, she might be a little bit broken in that instance, for sure. If any pro player were to say in a professional setting that she is overpowered, 100% I'd believe that. But between two average players who are not at that caliber, then there's definitely room for improvement on fundamental flaws in fighting games that they could be working on. And in a tag fighter like Dragonball FighterZ, it kind of helps to mitigate a character's strength just a little bit by the nature of the game, because it's not like something like Guilty Gear Strive, where you might have genuine bad matchups. In Dragonball FighterZ, you can swap in a better character from your team, or you can swap your opponent's character out for an easier matchup, and then you have assists in order to help you in that fight as well. So it helps to mitigate some of the kind of strengths of an individual character that would have been a little bit harder to deal with in a one-on-one fight. And I think another point to make here is Dragonball FighterZ is one of the best balanced fighting games we've had in a very long time. I mean, just look at the tier lists. You have professional players making tier lists, and while people can agree that some characters are definitely top tier and other characters are definitely lower, no tier list is exactly the same. Nobody can agree on an objective order for each and every single character, and this applies to the whole entire roster. And that just speaks to volumes at how well balanced Dragonball FighterZ is. And countless times, you hear professional players saying that you can choose any character and they're really viable. You just have to be willing in order to put in the effort into that character. So a professional, they're not going to necessarily put the effort into Master Roshi, for example, just because the time it would take to get to a professional level with that character is better spent on an easier character to learn. But when you do have somebody who puts that time into a character, you begin to see that character rise in the tier list because that player is showing the true potential of that previously low tier character. We saw this with base Vegeta back when he first came out. We saw this with Android 17. We see this with various characters, where the character is unexplored, it's low on the tier list, somebody goes ahead and puts in the time, they become incredible, and everybody thinks that character's S tier all of a sudden. The point being, the game is extremely well balanced. Any character is really viable, especially for the average player. And for that reason, I don't think Android 21 in the average player's hands is too overpowered. But there is a huge but here, and that is if we look at the top tiers, they all have something in common, or at least for the most part, and that's they're all really easy to play, and you get a lot off of pretty much nothing. Look at UI Goku, for example. My dude can hit you with pretty much anything and melt half your life with no problem at all. And I think that's the problem a lot of people have with these top tier characters, is the fact that you get so much for so little. and it doesn't feel good in order to get beat by somebody who's, you know, you can tell that they're not really all that good, but they're still winning because of the character that they have. We've all been there. We've all gotten beat by somebody using a top tier team, and they just win because, you know, their characters are kind of carrying them a little bit. I think that's really what people have an issue with. But you can beat somebody who's playing brain dead and just mashing, because that kind of behavior gets punished by somebody who's ready for it. Now, I feel like this puts the developers of Dragon Ball FighterZ in a little bit of a rough spot, because, well, if they come out with a technical character or an unorthodox character, nobody plays them. Because, as I previously mentioned, people just tend to opt for the easier to learn character, that way they can just get more out of them for less practice. So what do the developers do? They make more easy to use characters. And because easy to use characters tend to be a little bit on the higher tier, they end up, well, being higher tier. And as a result, we're in the same problem we're in now, where people get annoyed seeing them, they get annoyed fighting them, and they think the character's super busted and overpowered. So I do think Dragon Ball FighterZ has like a weird cycle going on with its DLCs. But that's pretty much all my thoughts on the topics, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. How do you feel about Android 21 and Dragon Ball FighterZ as a whole in this current state? Now, if you want some more Dragon Ball FighterZ, check out these videos on the screen now. We got some really good fights here. And if you're new, subscribe for daily videos. I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.